as promised, what we're going to start with is a little bit of a meditation. We're going to start with a little bit of a meditation, and then we'll move our way into the rest of our work. Just to catch you guys up, those who weren't here, just to get clear, what we're trying to do is discover our special contribution to the planet. Okay? What are you doing here? What's the point of your life? What difference will your life have made that you were here in this world? So we want to know what difference you make. And the way we find that out is 4 steps. Number 1 is to nullify the self-image, get rid of self-image and all the ego, and get to this no-one state. Number 2 is to figure out what's always bothered you about the world. Number 3 is to figure out what applicable skill you have to apply to your what's always bothered you about the world. Okay, and the last is the contribution. Okay, the last is to your contribution, which is going to be very concise. Now, what we'll do is we'll start with the no-one meditation. So it's a very short meditation. It's not like you won't even have a chance to fall asleep. Okay, and I wouldn't be able to. So what we'll do is start by just closing your eyes. We're going to take a deep breath. I'll close mine too. Okay, close your eyes. And let's take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Again, deep breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. As you exhale, tighten your belly, contract the belly muscles. Inhale through the nose as you expand the belly. Expanding the balloon. And exhale through the mouth. Okay, inhale through the nose, expanding the belly. Not the chest or the shoulders. Hold for a second. And exhale through the mouth. Contracting the belly. Inhale as you expand the belly. Hold for a moment. And exhale through the mouth. Okay, now just breathing normally, a nice relaxed feeling. Keep your eyes closed. Okay, and what you want to do is get in touch with the question at first. Get in touch with the question at first of who you are. Meaning literally who you are. Like if you were to point to who you are, could you point to it? And you start to realize that you can't really point to who you are. I mean, you could point to your body, you could point to any body part, you could point to your arm or your shoulder or your hand or your face, but you wouldn't be any of those things. You're not any of those things. And so then the question really is, who are you? And so since you're not your heart, because that's just a pump that pumps blood, so maybe you're your brain. And you realize, well, you're not your brain either, because your brain's just filled with brain cells. And brain cells, they're microscopic little things. And if you multiply a brain cell by 10,000 times, you multiply that neuron 10,000 times, it's not going to be you. You're not a brain cell. You're not one of your neurons. And if you're not one of them, you're not all of them. So you're not your neurons, and you're not your heart, you're not your hand, you're not your foot, you're not any of those things. So then the question is, who are you? Because you're definitely you. And you're very different than anyone sitting around you. So there's something unique about you, for sure. There's definitely something unique, but there's no place to point. It's very similar to a child, a toddler who's just perfectly in their childlike wonder. But since there's no one to point to, it's like a no one state. It's like a state of being no one. And just like a toddler who has no fear of rejection or failure, he or she will do anything in front of anyone when they're a little toddler, and they'll they're also not, there's no failure. I think how many times you got up to walk and how many times it took you just to learn to stand and then eventually to walk. It's, there's no one failing. There's no one who could fail. So it's trying to get right now in touch with this zero state, this real state of just being pure essence, pure soul. And now, when you hear the count of 5, you open up your eyes, realizing that what you really want to get out of this session is what you came to the world to do. What's your special purpose in this world? Why did God put you here? What's your contribution to the planet? What difference did it make that you were born and grew up in this world? What difference do you really make in this world? That's the goal. And the reason why you first went to this zero state, to get down to the no one, is because for you to really fulfill that goal and really live that, you have to first be no one. Because you have to be someone who doesn't care about rejection, doesn't care about failure. Because who cares? Who really cares about failure and rejection? Because there's no you, there's no one who failed or was rejected. You can just live your contribution, live what you came here to contribute to the planet. As you hear the numbers 1 through 5, at 5, opening up your eyes, coming up 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, opening up your eyes. And now asking yourself, what is it that's always bothered you about this world? Since you're a little kid, there's something that always bothered you. It was there if you were on the playground, maybe it was in the classroom, maybe it was in the family, at the dinner table, when you were at the table with the family. Everywhere you were, whether it was in university, wherever you were, what always bothered you about the world? So I gave some of you the night to think about it. So let's hear some things that bothered you. Okay? Who wants to start? Yeah.
I don't like when people wear masks. When people cover up their emotions and try and play this game that they're not really feeling something, or that there's someone else than who they really are. And I feel that a lot of people in the Western world do that.
Western world? You checked out the Eastern world?
I want to.
Okay, so what's always bothered you is people being fake. Fake. Okay, very good. Let's keep going. What's on? Yeah.
I can't stand excuses. Within that, I've probably made excuses for myself to put up with people, even though I know maybe they're being fake or they're not accurate. But if you can't owe up to something, and I understand it's, certain instances call for different degrees of ownership or responsibility, but I just feel like it leads you down that trail. It's like snowballing. Only, one thing leads to another. All of a sudden, you're not who you are anymore.
So you don't like excuse making. Yeah. It's always bothered you since you're little?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So you should write that down if you got a pen. Let's keep going. Yeah. What's always bothered you?
From world, all the men and boys are always taught that they're supposed to learn, but they're never really taught how to learn properly.
Okay, so you don't like that the methodology of getting someone to be able to learn properly it's not, so it's an educational type of thing. It's always bothered you that the education system doesn't somehow get, the methodology doesn't get someone to, what's the right word for, whatever, I don't have the word, effective learning. Like people can't become effective learners the way it's set up right now, at least in the system you're aware of. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah.
Oh, everyone's so busy throughout the day, but they can't just look up in the sky and appreciate how beautiful the world is.
That's always bothered you?
Yeah.
Okay. Ladies, what do you got? What's always bothered you?
That people fight because they don't never like have a conversation and say, hey, why did you do this? And then you get an explanation and then you don't fight. So like people not saying what they feel makes family or some friendship grow.
So lack of self-expression, maybe? People not expressing themselves. Okay, very good. So lack of self-expression. That's always bothered you? Okay. Did I get that right? Lack of self-expression. No? Come on, guys. Something's bothered you about this creation. God makes it that every human being's bothered by stuff. And specific stuff. You see, we've already had people call out several different things. Each one was different. What's always bothered you about the world?
Off the top of my head, I guess how, in order to be heard, in Western society, you kind of have to go through a phase of peer pressure to actually be someone.
So it's similar to what you said. It was about this. So it's bothered you, but I like that. It's very specific. It's like the phase usually during teenage years of like having to be like other people and letting go of a sense of self to just be considered important in the eyes of others. So it's the letting go of self has bothered you, letting go of one's essence. Yeah, Sammy.
For each person, is it always exactly one thing, or is it sometimes like?
You could have more than one, but there's probably usually one that really bothers someone. Yeah. You know what you're saying?
Yeah, but I mean, I understand. I'm not sure what that means.
Shane?
I thought I got a lot of things, I guess, but I was always irritated when, like, as you grow up, you're always taught, like, that you're preparing for something, like, preparing for something in the future. Like, everything's a preparation. Like, right now, it's not, like, some insignificant preamble.
So, like, it's always bothered that people don't live in the present.
Yeah.
People are not present.
Everyone's always in a hurry. You gotta go here. You gotta.
Yeah.
do this.
You're like, you want to smell the flowers. Yeah. He's just saying that you got to also stop and smell the flowers on your way. Smell the roses. Yes. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with preparing, but you got to, don't forget you're living a life while you're preparing.
Well, it's like yesterday when you talked about the funeral. At the end of the day, you're so worried about preparing for, so when they talk about you, do you want to be the great preparer and the great, planner?
He's saying when they do a hesped, you know what a hesped is, yeah? A hesped, eulogy. When they do a eulogy about someone, you don't want them to talk about how you prepared so well. Yeah.
Life is moving so fast, we're not stopping and appreciating what we're actually doing here.
So just appreciating what we're up to now. And that's always bothered you since you're a kid? Great. Okay, we have time for like one or two more. I'd like to hear more from the ladies. Okay, Moshe, you're not a lady, but you got beautiful face. Go ahead.
If anyone thinks they can hate anyone else, or that they should hate anyone else, whether it be people, spiders, cats, even Amalek. Amalek, if they don't know what Amalek is.
Okay, come on, one more. Go ahead, Rachalea.
Hashem is in exile because of
That God's in exile. Whoa. You guys ever think about that? God's in exile? We're used to us being in exile. Right, but that's like Hashem in exile. Okay. Boy, we got Miss Kasha's over there. So, okay. So you're right. Shekhinah is not God, but the point of God creating the world is for His Shekhinah to be, meaning it's not that God. It's that His purpose for having created the world's in exile. Yeah, we're totally outside the purpose of creation with in our situation we're in now. Okay. Come on, I know you want to say it. Come on, say it.
I mean, it's always bothered me that people just can't be kind to other people.
Mm.
I think people are so interested in themselves and their own motives, and that they just forget to be just
Givers and kind. And excellent. Okay, someone else want to share something that bothered them, or we'll move on? Okay, that does not mean you don't know what bothers you, right? It just means you don't want to share. Okay, good. Because we spent enough time on this that you should have figured out what bothers you. You just don't necessarily want to raise your hand. Okay? Okay, now, skill. What is your applicable skill that you have in, whether it's learned or it's something innate to you, it's something inherently built into you, just in your style, an applicable skill that you could apply to the problem. So, for example, the thing that's always bothered me is similar to yours. It's funny that I made you say it because yours is like mine. The thing that always bothered me was people disconnected, like people who should naturally be connected, but they're just disconnected. I could never live with that. Like I'd be at my parents' dinner table and I'd see like there's something heavy in the air and people aren't really communicating what's up, and to just get the air cleaned out so we can enjoy each other and really be connected to each other. So that always bothered me since I'm a little kid, no matter where I was, and to this day. So, but my special skill is speaking. I've always been good at speaking. When I was very little, I felt dumb because I just wasn't a very scholastic kid. You know, I was more of an experiential kid. I wasn't good at school. So I thought I was dumb, and I noticed smart people have amazing vocabularies and they're very eloquent at speaking. So I said, you know what? I can't be smart, but I could be, you know, with a ton of vocabulary and an eloquent speaker, which is really funny. It's a good thing I thought I was dumb when I was a kid, because now I speak professionally. Like, that's mainly what I do is speak. And it was all a compensation for feeling like I was a dumb kid. But hey, it turned out to be a blessing. You see, a curse can be a blessing. So, by the way, I'm not dumb. I'm just, I was a little kid who just wasn't built for classroom. You know, some kids just aren't built for the classroom. That was me. I still had a Yiddish cup. I still had a Jewish head. You know, smart kid. Anyway, so you want to think about a skill you have. Maybe you're good at networking. Maybe you're good at writing. Maybe you're a good writer. Maybe you're really good at music or some other art form or creative thing. Maybe you're really good at marketing. Maybe you got your finger on the pulse of people in general. So you're really good at guessing what the next phase of things that kids will be into. You know, like that kind of thing. What is your special skill? Maybe you're a really good listener. Maybe you're a really good shopper. People have said that before. Okay, so think about it. What's your applicable skill? Okay, let's hear it. Yeah. And oh, by the way, don't be all like false humility and be like, oh, I'm not good at it. Don't do that. Meaning, if you're one of these people who's doing this like fake humility of like wanting to discount the fact that that you have these skills, let me just share with you the Jewish definition of being humble. The Jewish definition of being humble is that you recognize God as the source of greatness. God is the source of greatness. So, like, for example, our chef at Eshet Torah, Chef Herschel, can cook an amazing meal, and people want to compliment him, so everyone's telling him what a great meal it is. He'll always say, thank God. Thank God. He's recognized it was a great meal. He knows it was a great meal. He knows he's great. Thank God. Okay? There are dumb people who could never become good speakers. God gave me an ability to speak. Thank God. Thank God. You know. So humility is recognizing God as the source of your greatness, but you're great. You're great. And God's the source of that greatness. That's humility. The Gentile way of looking at humility is I'm nothing. I'm nothing. But to say you're nothing is like spitting God in the face who gave you your greatness. You understand? If God gave you the greatness, so two things should happen. One, you recognize God's the source of your greatness. And two is put it out there now. If you're great at something, put it out there and make this world a better place. God put you here for a reason. And you got to make the world a great place. So you can be as humble as you want and as great as you want at the same time. As we know, the greatest leader ever lived, the only thing we know about him in his actual attributes was his humility. That was Moses. Moses, the greatest leader ever lived, we only know one thing about him. The Torah tells us one thing, that he was humble. And no one recognized God's greatness better than Moses. And the showing of what a no-one he was. What a no-one he was is how, you know, those who were here yesterday, we spoke about this, but it's how he was like water. You could put him in any shape, meaning no matter what shape you put water into, it just perfectly goes in that shape. So he could shepherd sheep, or he could shepherd a nation of 3 million people. He could do anything. You know, he was a person with a speech impediment, but if God wants him to give a major talk to the nation, suddenly, okay, you know, whoever God calls me into being, I am, right? He just, that's who that's what you need, God? Okay, I can do that. You know, you can do whatever God calls you into action, to do, or to be. Okay, so let's hear some skills. Let's hear some skills, come on. Yeah, Amo.
Can your greatest skill also be a greatest detriment?
Yeah, especially when you're ADHD for me. There are so many times I should not be saying things. You know, ADHD people just say it all. You know, there's times I should just shut up, you know, but I say it anyway and then I get in all kinds of trouble and stuff. So yeah.
So then generosity or caring of me. I think, like I said, with the excuses, because it goes hand in hand. You know, I'll care and whatever.
So you're a giver.
Yes.
You're a giver. Very good. But you have another skill too. You have another skill that's one of the most profound skills I've ever seen in a man. Is you are amazing with kids, and it's so incredible. You're a school teacher. What grade do you teach?
Kindergarten through 5th. So,
All those years?
all those.
You teach all those kids?
In the past 4 years, each year I've had a different
Year of kindergarten through elementary.
Yes.
Your elementary ages.
Um,
So yeah, I mean, this is just an incredible skill you have. Incredible skill. I even forgot his name because in my family, because of my 4-year-old son, they were calling him Jungle Jim throughout the meal. You know, we were calling him Jungle Jim because my 4-year-old just immediately like saw this guy and just knew he could start climbing. Okay, and boy did he climb. The whole meal he was climbing on him. So that little rascal came into bed last night, laid down right next to me, and was asleep in probably 20 seconds. It was so cute, so sweet. And in fact, I kept him there. Normally I remove the child, you know, just to get a better night's sleep, but he was perfect. Yeah. Had him nice stuffed against the wall there. Yeah. So great. And just give you a little hint about being a giver. Instead of caring, I'd say rather a giver. Part of being a giver is to become what's called I'm going to call it a selfish giver. It sounds like an oxymoron, right? If you're selfish, you're not a giver. If you're a giver, you're not a selfish. You want to be a selfish giver. They've done a lot of research lately in business of what happens with givers versus matchers versus takers. Okay, certain people are takers. Those people you want to red flag them and watch out for them. Then there's matchers. You know, they'll give, but only as much as you give. And they're constantly monitoring never to be taken by you, like somehow have given more than you gave. Okay, matchers are also kind of lame, but it's okay. People are matchers. You just got to know they're matching. Okay, and the last type is a giver. And what they found is givers are on the top and the bottom. So there's takers, matchers, givers, and at the bottom are also givers, as far as business success. Yeah. So they couldn't figure it out. I mean, they did a lot of research on this, like tons of science was done on this. How could the givers be on the top and the bottom? And the answer is that selfless givers are on the bottom. Selfless givers, they're basically oh gosh, I only know the Yiddish for this, but they're like shmatas. You know the term shmata? Shmata is a rag, what you mop the floor with. So a selfless giver is a shmata. And what happens is they have work to do. Yeah, they got a job description, they have work to do, but what happens is they're givers, so everyone knows they can come get favors and get help with their, like creating their class plan. You're the first person I would come to get a class plan because you'll give it to me. But meanwhile, you didn't get to develop your class plan. So what happened? You wound up staying up from 12 to 1 to create that week's class plans. And you will come into class on Monday all exhausted because you didn't sleep enough. Whatever, you see the shmata situation. Selfless givers in the business world wind up on the bottom and the top. The reason why they wind up on the top is because in the business world, very little business is done in an hour. Business is done over years. And a giver is always on everyone's top of their list to work with them. People love working with givers. And it's just the best. And today in our world where everything's networking, so you want to network with a giver, you don't want to network with a matcher or a taker. It's not a big deal. If you have to, you have to. But it's not a pleasure. And so the people who are a pleasure to be around and the people who are a pleasure to work with are what are called, I don't want to say what they put in the books, in the business books, they call it self-interested givers. Meaning you still take your time out for your exercise, you're taking your time out for proper, a delicious lunch that's healthy, and you take your time out for maybe a massage once every month or something, once a month or once every 3 weeks. You're a self-interested giver, because the selfless givers wind up really as rags. Okay, is that clear? Give me a skill.
I was actually elaborating on the bottom part of the giver.
Selfless givers?
Yeah, are those the ones that are the least resilient and that they're the mostly taken advantage of, you'd say?
They may be resilient, but they are taken advantage of. Yeah, everyone loves those guys. They're doormats, but they're the kind of guys you want to know when you need something done. Yeah, I have a whole list on my phone. Yeah, no, but I literally have a list on my phone. I have a list on my phone of all the AISH students. Anytime I have an AISH student, I put them on my phone and I write the word AISH. That way, if I put in AISH in the search, it goes to this long list of AISH guys. Now, but then I file through them and see who are the selfless givers. And then I call them and I say, listen, I left such and such an envelope in such and such an office. The office is locked. I need you to go to Tel Aviv. And he's just like, okay, I think I got it. I'm like, yes. So, so you do have these guys there. Here's some skills, okay? It's what your parents would say about you, or your best friends would say about you if you're still playing this humble game. So it's what your friends would say. Go ahead, Shane.
I said always been able to connect with people and relate to them somehow. They're going through something, no matter who it is. They might be completely different from me. Well, not different from me, but different from.
So you're a great listener.
Yeah, I don't know. I just always find a way to relate to someone.
So you're very good at.
I guess.
You're very good at relating to people.
I don't know. I'd say I'm like a sensitive guy. I was raised by my mother, so. Being.
Okay, I'm just remember it has to be applicable. So I'm looking for an applicable skill. Now you can totally apply that, and you will apply it. But I'm looking for something that where you can say, perfectly apply it to what bothered you. What did you say bothered you again?
People not living in the moment, I guess.
People not living in the moment. So you being able to be really sensitive like that doesn't necessarily help people live in the moment. You get that? So it needs to be applicable. Okay, let's keep going. Solomon.
I am very good photographer.
Amazing.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, I am, and I have thank God, very good eye, very good
business in photography, and I'm very good at that.
Thank God.
Yes.
Gracias a Dios. Yes. So if you guys, from now on, everyone can know, because everyone knows saying goodbye everyone knows saying thank you in Spanish is gracias, and everyone knows saying goodbye is adios. Yeah. But adios, like Dio, like deity, Dios is God. So gracias a Dios. Thank you to God. Adios. Gracias a Dios. Yeah. So it's you're all from now on, like in Hebrew we say Baruch Hashem. So from now when you speak to Spanish people, they say Mashlomcha, you say gracias a Dios. And you can also leave, because you've said goodbye at the same time. So, all right. Okay, let's hear some more skill.
Shalom, there's peace, hello, goodbye.
Exactly.
Together.
That's right. That's right. And it's one of God's names is Shalom. So. Here's some skills. What's your skill, lady? Graphic design. Excellent. Oh, and I didn't hear what bothered you yet. One sec, because I heard what bothered her. What bothered you was people being insensitive, I think it was. What did you say it was?
Not yet. Maybe
Not nice. Okay, and yours is graphic design. Oh, totally applicable, right? Because you can create all kinds of really cool stuff. And, you know, I mean, today with modern, you know, you could be streaming Facebook designs that all are like creative ways of showing people being nice in a situation where they could have not been nice. And, you know, I mean, I've got so many ideas even flooding my head right now of like, you know, like what someone did and then like recreating it and what they could have done and how they could have related. That would have been much more positive. What was that one recently? I just saw this great video where this guy's, it was against technology, this video. It was really great though. And they shows this guy, he can't find an address. So he asks this lady and she winds up walking him there. But then you see like they really get along. And so he gets her number, end up calling. And in the end, they're like, he's holding her baby. Like they're married. And it's like the most beautiful thing. And then they show the same clip over again, but he's got GPS. And she just like, he's like that, and you see her walk right by, and they never meet, and you're like, whoa, yeah, it's heavy, yeah, yeah. Who knows how much we've like changed things up here, you know, with this self-sufficient, self-reliant. Anyway, but there's a lot of great stuff you can do with that. And what's always bothered you, Solomon, about the world? Come on.
A lot of things, but one is a lack of aesthetics for
A lack of aesthetics. Uh-huh.
it's not the most ever, but it's a lack.
Lack of aesthetics, like architectural aesthetics?
Architectural art, or whatever. I don't like when I see a book of the great synagogues of Jerusalem, and the photos are very bad.
They're not the photos they could be in.
Yes, a lot of.
Uh-huh. Okay, great. Great. So you could like comb the world for bad photographs and retake them. Yeah. Photoshop. Okay, let's hear some. Yeah? Huh? Yeah, right. You can send your pictures to her. Wait, it must be nerve-wracking being married to a man who, the thing that always bothered him was lack of aesthetics. You're going to need like...
Wearing makeup.
So, yeah. What was your special skill?
Like people that I know, like for a very short time, feels like they know me and they open with me, like tell me his troubles and like of their family. Like, oh, yeah, I just met you.
She's one of those people. Yeah, I have that too. No, you're going up a chairlift with someone skiing and like, you know, 10 minutes on a chairlift and you got this person's whole life story, stuff you never want to know about somebody. You've got that. Wow. So that's amazing. And what always bothered you?
That people doesn't communicate, like self-express, and that's why, like my family would like are like they won't say what's bothering, and then the problem will be humongous, and they won't speak to each other for 1 month when you only had to go and say, hey, why do you do this? Like,
wow. This is amazing. And people just naturally share their stuff with her. And so maybe your contribution could have something to do with, I don't know what you do for a living. What do you do now?
I'm also a photographer.
Did you meet shooting pictures or something?
No.
What's a competition?
Anyway, perhaps maybe you'd want to think about doing, being someone who, I don't know how to state it exactly, but what would be the term? When there's a group, a company, a family, or anything that's needs not a consultant, but they need mediator, like a family mediator type person. You might be like really good at that type of stuff, mediation in disputes or like stuff like that, because people just naturally let it out and express. Okay, I don't know. All right, another skill or two. Just give me 2 more skills. Okay, what do you got? Skill?
Spearheading projects.
Oh yeah, you're good at starting projects.
Spearheading them, starting them specifically, but just like running the project.
Oh yeah, you can run it. You'll run with it. Great. And what always bothered you?
The fact that in the Orthodox world they don't teach.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Academic.
Okay, I remember that. Okay, and one last skill. Someone give me a skill. Yeah.
Observing and giving people advice.
Great. Unsolicited advice.
No, they come to me and ask if I'm a good listener.
So you're good at like seeing. You're a good troubleshooter. Like you see the thing, and then you know you can give advice on how to solve it. Not bad. Not bad. What's always bothered you?
About people just going through their daily lives and not appreciating the world. Basically, I'm like Amuna. Like I try to fix people's Amuna.
Okay, great. All right, anyone else want to share before we go to step 4? Okay. Step 4 is to express it in a the reason I put .com is in order that you make it very concise. It's got to be concise. Why? Because, as we said, the fear of rejection and failure of the self-image, right? Not the no one, but the self-image part of us, that fear of rejection or failure is going to, it's quick. I mean, it's just one karate kick, it's just boom, it knocks you out, and you wind up not doing what you came here to do. So many people are giving up their contribution to the planet because of the fear of rejection and failure. Because it will get rejected, and it's going to fail many times. So in order to combat that fear of failure and that fear of rejection, it has to be concise. It's just got to be boom.com, okay? Aesthetics.com, yeah? Education or, it could be education.com, something like that, or chinuch.com. It's just got to be this boom thing like that, emuna.com, okay? And when you have that .com of your thing you're here to solve, then it can now do battle nicely with whatever it is that the self-image is worried about. Okay, don't forget, no one is versus the self-image. Okay, it's no one versus the self-image. So whenever your self-image comes and wants to give you a karate kick and stop you from making that difference you came here to make, you can immediately shift to your .com contribution to the planet.